another episode of Marketing Jedis, a podcast series by InMobi and Microsoft. My name is Aditya, and I head the account management side of things at InMobi for Microsoft Advertising. With me, I have Prateek Malpani from Wakefit. Welcome, Prateek. Before we get started, a little bit about Prateek. Prateek comes from a rich brand marketing experience. After graduating from MICA, Prateek has donned multiple hats in the industry over the past 9+ years. Having worked with some prominent brands like InfoEdge, Redbus, Cultfit, Vedantu across India and Southeast Asia, currently he has he acts as a brand and content team head at Wakefit. With such an illustrious career, both me and definitely the audience watching would love to hear more about you. So as we kickstart this podcast, I'd like to throw in the first question at you, which is, tell us something more about yourself. How do you start your journey in this industry, and how did it go about to date?
Thank you so much, Aditya. Thank you so much for those kind words. It's far from being illustrious right now. I think we are all just getting started. So I am here to learn as much from you and hopefully in the comment section from the audience as well, if at all. So it all began right with my entry into MICA, right? The B school cast. That B school is basically, it casts a spell on me in terms of the environment, the peers, soft skills, the culture that it gave me, right? And if I was anything but iffy about marketing as a career choice before MICA, post MICA, I got convinced. And it basically, it all starts like it starts for everyone with the love for advertising, the most glamorous and visible part of marketing, right? Soon I realized that, it was just one of the pieces, more so in the era of mobile, reason why we are here today, right? To discuss, but just watching, evaluating ads and hoping that you become a part of something like this is when it all started. And have been immensely fortunate to have worked with some of the greatest minds in absolutely legendary brands, such as Naukri, Make My Trip, Redbus, Cult, Vedantu, and now with Wakefit, which is already one of the biggest success stories that we see in the D2C space, and it's just getting started. So extremely exciting space and time to be in. And yep.
I think one of those points that I'd really pick in, right? You said evolution of mobile in this segment, and yeah, that's the reason we are here also. And I think when I started, my segment into the digital world, mobile was still just getting introduced, and brands and users, everyone was skeptic about the whole purchase power that will come from using a mobile. It was more a branded medium, and now it's in everyone's hand, and everyone almost purchases items through their devices itself. The evolution has been like crazy over the past few years, and specifically from a technology standpoint itself. And what are the new developments that interest you in this segment, and how do you define the development, and what is your viewpoint from that angle?
Right. Picking on that, I still remember when I started my career in marketing in 2013. The Facebook login screen on desktop used to be the most expensive property that you could buy at the time in terms of media buying. Most expensive, most impactful, one of the most expensive and impactful. So things have changed a lot since then, obviously, and the only thing constant in marketing is change. It is an adapt or die industry, right? The first point in your marketing playbook has to be that there is no playbook. So while some of the first principle thinking in terms of customer centricity still remains, the one thing that has immensely evolved over the last few years is looking at marketing and even functions within the marketing in just silos, right? The fact that someone in marketing is thinking that my job was only to get the customer from position A to position B is and will have to change. Like while wearing the marketer's hat, you have to think about from a A to Z, so full funnel visibility and impacting and adding value to the consumer at every stage has been the biggest task that has been added in all of our job descriptions. It is no longer that, hey, you are just top of the funnel and you're just bottom of the funnel. You have to add value in each and every stage, more so in the times when things are becoming omni-channel and the ways to reach customers is more than just TV or radio or print. So that is exactly where the new developments in technology help you out with. from awareness to trial to user experience to acquisition to engagement to retention to loyalty. Like it's a huge stack, and technology comes in that way, right?
Yeah, I think when it eventually started, right in the beginning, say 10 odd years back, it was more about targeting the user and trying to identify
Correct.
the users. And we've now, we moved further away from just moment marketing itself, right? Being
Correct.
present where the user wants you at that particular moment.
Correct.
And all these evolutions in platforms and targeting options has just helped us do that as well. And
Correct.
the evolution in the mobile world is even more specific because everyone's on that screen.
Correct.
In the say past 8 or 10 odd years, there has been quite a bit of change in the digital landscape itself. But the last 2 to 3 years have accelerated that maybe 3 times itself. Considering the pandemic, right, and the onset of the digital era during that time, brands had to do a lot of restructuring. They had to change not only how they approach conventional marketing, but overall processes. Be it from a Wakefit standpoint itself, right? What were those challenges that you had faced, and what was the experience?
See, for digital brands like Wakefit, right, I don't think so pandemic had anything to do with any sort of restructuring, especially when it comes to marketing online, right? We were born digital, and that still remains the first go-to medium for any idea execution. And it's the same thing that has happened, if I have to say, from millennials to Gen Z, where millennials were the generation that had to transition screens, right? From, say, a desktop to a laptop to a phone to a smaller phone to a smartphone to iPad or whatever. But, if you consider this in terms of Gen Zs, they were born looking at mobile screens. They are born looking at mobile screens. So Wakefit is like the Gen Z or the later in the brand ecosystem. So digital was never an afterthought. And for better or for worse, the times that we are living in have only given an impetus in adoption. So what was earlier thought as an alien concept, of delivering a compressed mattress in a box is now understood because of digital or because of what we've seen in the last 2 to 3 years. The ways in which we had to adopt were different, right? To make your business relevant on digital is not just understanding the media or platform, but also needs and wants. So the consumer traditionally wanted that they get to try the mattress before buying it, and we flipped it entirely to mention that why don't you buy it and then try it for 100 days, and if you don't like it, you take it back. So this also required some sort of digital transformation to align the entire ecosystem, from customer relationship management to communication to bottom of funnel marketing to entire experience of easy returns, service in terms of chat, to ensure that people are able to understand what we are trying to provide. So to be honest, Wakefit or even with brands that I've worked with before were always digital first. And when March 2020 happened, apart from adapting to new ways of working, we don't think there were any other restructuring or challenges that we've had to face.
Yeah,
at least in terms of consumers. Yeah, sorry.
The concept of ordering in the mattress and then trying it out for those 100 days, I can confidently say I fell for that because I'm one of the Wakefit customers since then. And I think I've been following Wakefit also for quite a bit, and these amazing concepts of marketing that you brought in, be it the Sleep Internship that everyone knows about, or the recent Kumbhakaran approach, right? There was so much virality in that, and it acted like a live wire when you're just reading through it. It wasn't directly talking about the product, but just that concept and bringing back what we used to hear about when we were kids or what we read about when we were kids, but doing a marketing tip. It takes a lot for a brand to take those strategies and then put marketing dollars behind that and then bring it to market, right? I don't see many very Indian brands doing that at all. So what was the idea behind that? How did you go about structuring that and actually bringing that to market?
Right. See, firstly, I think at least we are lucky to have been able to work with the right partners and have the right team members who can think of ideas which are as crazy as what we've executed in the past, right? And I would just say that it is just a magical culmination of extremely creative minds. So at Wakefit, as mentioned earlier, right, we always push ourselves to think unconventional. The fundamental to all of these ideas, right, is a core insight, okay, or a simple idea. It's not rocket science at all, right? Like if you think of it, for sleep internship, right? We've always been heard in terms of India being a nation which is obsessed and romanticizing not sleeping, right? The age-old saying of, if I can use Hindi, jo sovat hai wo khovat hai, right? The one who sleeps loses. And we thought, like, why not just turn the narrative and give people money because they can sleep beautifully, right? So similarly it was with Kumkaran. We've grown up with stories of Kumkaran. We've been called Kumkarans because we sleep at odd hours, or there has been no one as famous and as a sleep icon than what he is. And we were like a eureka moment, like why has no brand used him yet? So if the mattresses are approved by him, there's no question. And it does not, it just does not stop there, right? You have to, now this is where again your entire adopting to digital transformation of ideas as well. So it's no longer just one medium. So then you start thinking that, okay, fine, I have this beautiful device in Kumkaran or Sleep Internship. How do I take it? How, if I have to talk about it in a world where I'm only speaking to LinkedIn professionals, professionals on LinkedIn, how do I then talk about this idea? It can't be a copy paste, right? It can't be just, okay, whatever I've done on Instagram or whatever I've done on anything else, I just posted on LinkedIn. It can't be a copy paste. So that is when the crazy idea of creating a LinkedIn profile for him came in, which is so all of this sort of then becomes the entire framework on how we sort of, or what do you say, the secret sauce that you mentioned, is how it comes into life.
It is, so just adding on to that itself, with such an approach and it going viral, is there also analytics driven behind that? How to use that data, maybe leverage it for future creative aspects that you can bring in, or was the idea also something that came in from just a creativity standpoint, or was there numbers driven behind it, where we know if we try something like that, there is already a set bit of users who will fall for this, or who will utilize this and get influenced by us?
Correct. No, so obviously, see, every customer insight is not anecdotal, and we try to quantify it as much as possible, either through social listening tools or through in general a lot of secondary research. And if nothing like it, it comes from a point of view of primary research. So, and there is also a full-time survey that we run, which is called the Great Indian Sleep Scorecard, which gives us a lot of insights around how people behave, and how Aditya living in Hyderabad differs from a Prateek living in Bombay, and how their sleep patterns are different. And can it be sort of extrapolated to give you actual insights and create enough samples? Insights coming from there, insights coming from our social media conversations, a bunch of insights comes from the reviews that we get on like, there is a certain vision with which we make our products, and we would want to communicate according to that, but there is a completely different way in which our customers perceive the products or they experience it. And constantly listening, and more than 3 lakh plus reviews of Wakefit across all platforms gives us immense opportunity to just read up and pick up on those things, and then craft it into your communication the way you want to.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I really admire about digital, right? And Wakefit's doing it right, which is collecting insights not only from users, but also what's happening in the market, and accumulating both of that to then drive results, which I think is the core essence of digital marketing itself. And I think in the last year, I think a Dan report mentioned that there was a 35% jump in digital spends itself, right? And right now, digital is being touted as the future of marketing itself, and tipping scales towards digital marketing and removing it from conventional marketing. What are your views in with regards to this trend, and how has the marketing mix on that front also evolved with more spends coming onto digital? Uh, what are the thoughts that you put into play when you devise a marketing plan? Yeah.
Got it. See, I honestly don't think digital is the future of marketing. It is actually the present. I mean, gone are the times when we used to talk in traditional terms, right? Of ATL, above the line and below the line. The lines are blurred now. And at Wakefit as well, we started moving away from separating online and offline channels. Whether it is last year or the years to come, the media choices will always be done basis business objective, customer intent, and the role that each media would play to achieve it. Right. To announce something like a sleep internship, we would want to go ahead and do it on with a leading influencer. To announce a larger brand campaign with an objective to increase top of mind awareness, we would want to go ahead and choose a certain number of reach impressions across your entire 360 degrees. So the trend is that a lot of digital first brands will opt for traditional channels, while traditional brands will play catch up and incorporate digital first marketing strategies in their plans.
Yeah.
For us, there is no fixed percentage. We decide on our objectives. We evaluate the value proposition or customer proposition. We identify our consumer segments and identify multiple ways to reach those consumers and include everything that's applicable in our plans. So while some channels like performance or not performance, some channels like search or remarketing, retargeting, some of those strategies they remain always on for us, while others come in and go based on the objectives or the goals at the time. It's a fine balance, I feel, between brand and performance marketing that delivers the best results. And I think all of us should fight hard to see which is instead of leaning towards something that can be quantified easily. So it'll be important for companies to leave space for both brand and performance marketing because they just work better together.
Yeah, I think it's always a blurry aspect. It's always changing with regards to what sector you fall into or what your segment overall is. It's not going to be
Correct.
Fixed
Correct.
steps. And I think with the changing landscape of digital and the evolution that it's bringing in or the innovations that are coming in, one of the questions that I actually wanted to get into was, say the D2C sector and the sector that Wakefit falls into. How do you go about, adopting to that innovation and scale and constantly maintaining a success metric?
Mm-hmm. See, when it comes to technology or innovation, right, no matter what the new developments are, at least we still try to keep things simple. Basic things like, low effort and high impact kind of stuff. So whether it is landing page optimizations or A/B experiments with your email marketing creative, subject lines, personalization, mobile first thinking of ad orientation, creative automation for communication at scale, data driven insights using keyword trends, customer reviews, Google search, social listening. So all of this is something that we keep using in our sort of a playbook to arrive at ideas and execute it. Only if you manage to keep things simple, right, will you be able to execute or innovate it and at scale. For us, we are in the business of selling goods online that have been sold and normalized offline for decades. Nobody would have imagined buying a mattress or without actually going and sitting and jumping on it, right? So to get that behavior change, the use of technology right now should only be not to just do a one-up on inconveniences that offline provides, but also truly transform the buying experience online. So, my strong belief is that any brand gets built by giving a predictable, consistent, and ideal buying experience, right? Again and again. So that is how we've done. And now for me, I think for us, the next step would be to see if we can innovate at scale when it comes to greater and deeper personalization, using more data to drive greater relevance for customers, both first party and third party. See if we can drive deeper human communications and try to achieve that golden segment of one. Like I should have copies, creatives in my bank that specifically speaks to Aditya. That is the holy grail of using tech to first identify, then using tech to create communication at scale, then using tech to experiment, test, and optimize, and finally using it to measure and improve. So I mean that is the answer that I have right now.
Like, you used so many words, you said so many products, and you talked about so many tools, or so many concepts that we should be looking at when we are deciding anything for the future or large scale resolution, right?
Correct.
What would be your inputs? Because these are inputs that you could give with 9+ years of experience of being in the industry, right? What would be your advice for, say, the young digital marketers, hopefully who are watching us as well, in terms of when they're exploring platforms, in terms of when they're innovating the media mix, etc. They're starting off. Getting into this world together with all of these things, it can be quite confusing. So what would be your input towards that?
See, my first and foremost input will be to just create a laundry list of problems that you think that you both problems that are consumer first, which you have not solved yet, problems that are your product and tech first, but are not doing the best job yet in terms of improving the experience. So think about the experience that you want the consumer to have on your product or on your entire journey, and see the problems that they have, see what you're solving, see what you're doing good at, and then identify opportunities which will give you impact at scale. That is entirely how you should pick and choose the battles that you would want to do in your digital marketing landscape. For us at Wakefit especially, so it is not just about consumer insight in terms of but also business analytics and insight as for example, if I can just say how a faster delivery or a festival in a particular region, or even communication change in terms of price elasticity and discounts, or the fact that these are the things that we sort of use on a regular basis and leverage ad tech to arrive at ad tech in both martech, both in terms of tools, to arrive at the right mix, and a lot of other things like selecting the right mix of influencers or deploying a large scale digital media campaign. So I would just say in terms of first principle thinking, identify your customers, segment them into try to segment them in terms of not just demographics, but a little bit more on the hundreds of signals that ad tech allows you to segment them into. See if you can craft communication in each of them. Trust programmatic and see what is the kind of objective that each media is going to solve for you, and then let the system do the magic and optimize and measure and improve.
Yeah, I think from what you said, what I understand is digital marketing has become so crucial, and it's a complete creative play with analytics involved, right?
Correct. Correct.
On both of that is going to be so important for the future as well. And again, I come back to that question in terms to understand, because of the success Wakefit has been able to drive through on the marketing side of things, how important is data driven insights, and how was that used to leverage? How was that leveraged to build out growth in the last year? Like, how did we leverage ad tech for growth itself using data?
No, I like I mentioned also, right, in terms of automating inventory buying. like there's so much avenues right now. Also, if I plan a campaign, there's like a sea of things that I can choose from either from short video apps or social media, live commerce, influencers, publishers, news apps, your usual Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the video inventory that is out there. And like there's immense. So I'm saying that leverage ad tech uh, in terms of reaching out to the consumers rather than selecting a media. So have a very clear understanding of who your consumer is beyond just demography. See the kind of media and, and then leverage ad tech to reach out to them where they are going on the internet, right? Instead of you selecting that, hey, I want to do X, Y, Z. So at Wakefit, for us, it is automating inventory buying as much as possible, because beyond a point, you cannot control digital media if you want to scale up. Look for multiple signals beyond just demography to closely target the user segment, whether it is in terms of interest, life stage, life events, user intent, search behavior, website behavior, old customer, new customer, dormant customer, loyal customer. A lot of planning as well in terms of fresh communication and who to show what in which stage of either brand consideration or simply which stage of brand journey that that person is. Am I showing X person the ad for the first time? If I'm showing it for the fourth time, will should I be showing the same communication, or should I take the conversation to the next level? So a lot of those planning, and again, as I mentioned, right, not just ad tech but martech, which is like for example, Wakefit is at a stage where after amassing like 3 lakh reviews and almost servicing 8 lakh customers, we are sitting on a pile of first party data that helps us learn and service our customers. Now, even after this, if you are executing how we executed on day one, then there's no point of using any ad tech or martech that we've onboarded, right? So a lot of martech tools do help us in achieving that as well. And it is a combination of both these that help you deliver the most on digital in the best way possible.
Again, in terms of the pandemic, and it's a brilliant time right now, right? We've been pre-pandemic, we've been in pandemic, and we're almost entering hopefully the post-pandemic phase.
Right.
Have you seen a change in user behavior just with regard to Wakefit itself through these 3 stages or in the current stage itself?
Amazing question, Aditya. And this is like one of my favorite questions these days, because again, as you know, if you remember at the start of my conversation, I told you marketing is no longer about working in silos. And for long, people have, because see, if I have to just go back, right, your marketing principles were set by financial institutions and FMCG, right? That is how, and these brands that we are all working for these days, they were not there at that time. So you are trying to stay true to those principles, traditional principles that those they have set, which has worked, which still continues to work in a lot of ways. However, it just does not stop at that, right? So what post March 2020 has done is got a lot of experience, user experience, importance of user experience, or importance of service design, in terms of marketing, right? So I am saying that it is not just about talking about a product, a brand with a celebrity, but what you communicate and what you do after the user has interacted with your brand, come on your website, evaluated a product, left a product in the cart, ordered, what happens after that. So the entire journey, I think, is what the shift that I see in terms of expectations. Because I mentioned, right, that uh, a lot of the startups that we are working for right now are trying to revolutionize or disrupt something that was traditionally offline. And if you don't one up on that experience online, you are not going to win the game. So this is where I think ad tech and marketing will play a huge role, not just in communicating and putting our message out there based on which stage the consumer is, but also how to give them a seamless experience, not limited to just transaction, but post delivery as well, post order as well. And how
Yeah.
do you use all of these tools in the stack to communicate that efficiently is what brand marketing is changing, I feel, in terms of post 2020.
Yeah. So with all the evolution coming into play, and we're done with pre-pandemic. We are going through the pandemic phase now. And in the years to come, I see a lot of evolution that's going to come in and development that will come in the ad tech and market space, right? What I wanted to know is what is the trends that you think that are going to be coming into play, and what is it that you're most excited about in this space?
Right. So see, the thing is, I feel there are multiple things in my head right now, but what I feel right now is the need of the hour, not from a consumer point of view, but more from a marketer's point of view, is a clear and advanced understanding of attribution. So full cycle reporting on marketing activities. Uh, every online marketer's dream to be able to measure things online in terms of how the performance is, how reporting, and where ad tech could help is both delivering on your media plan and measuring in real time, and hence optimizing and improving the overall deliveries is going to be obviously one. And uh, again, things get complicated because right now as well, a lot gets relied on last touch or and think so if at all, I feel the next trend is going to be someone who will sort of ride the wave in terms of revenue attribution, multi-touch, and revenue reporting, and really advanced way of measuring things and tracking user behavior in terms of that. Over and above, I think the other trends, tools like programmatic and demand side platforms, right? I feel they are magical because they let you use hundreds of targeting signals, right, to individualize the ad and target according to lifestyle or behavior or habits, which gives you opportunity to go out with multiple messages to multiple people. Like one of my favorite things to tell every time is that we treat India as sort of one market, but it is actually 29 distinct markets
Yeah.
that are there, which have a lot of cultural differences, a lot of preferences, different preferences. So what ad tech can truly do and serve amazingly well if it happens is to be able to speak to each of them in a choreographed language that instead of just doing a one size fits all kind of a thing. So that is segmentation is another thing. Personalization comes as a part of that. So yeah, I mean, these are 2-3 things that I am excited about, apart from the usuals, mobile specific storytelling and trying to further reduce from 6 to 3 to 1 second maybe.
I think rightly put it. I keep thinking about that fact. A lot of marketers still look at and brands still look at last click, right?
Yeah,
And that whole attribution modeling, assisted clicks, all of those are while you can still have metrics on them and there's an attribution given to them. That importance of that still doesn't come in completely. And let's take say just one platform, right? If it's Microsoft Bing, you can still have the assisted clicks or attribution done there. Now there are
correct.
hundreds of other platforms, and each
Hmm.
platform is going to influence the other platform and create a conversion
Correct.
or create the lead. Looping all of that into one picture is, if that happens, that's going to be beautiful. And I
Correct.
know everything's working towards that, but hopefully sometime in the near future, I think it'll make all our lives a lot more easier and marketing a lot
Correct.
fun to do.
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
I think I, I'm good with the session, but I had like one question just to put you on spot. Uh, what's the next conceptualized fun branding activity that Wakefit's going to be doing? Because I'm looking forward to that.
No, so I mean, we've been constantly brainstorming, and I think with the kind of properties that we've already developed, right? The next fun big thing is to take them 10x or take them 100x. Like right now, if Kunkaran is known by only a few set of people, we want to see how we can again leverage digital or not to ensure that a lot of people get to know us through through him, or even for that fact that how do we take sleep internship to the next level, identify like for example right now I'm just spitballing, but if I have to just brainstorm with you what can be the next for sleep internship is can I speak to InMobi and and ask them that can you identify for me, according to you, the most efficient sleepers in the country, and help me target my program to them or help me take my
Yeah.
program to them. Uh, uh, so I mean, multiple things that are going to be there. We want to make this 10x. We want to also talk a lot and about our entry into complete home solutions. So just how we've created such legendary properties in sleep, I think you will get to see a lot of interesting stuff that's going to come out from a from the home solutions in terms of furniture and home decor and everything. So that's there, which again reminds me of how necessary it is for us as a brand also to adopt AdTech and MarTech right now, because uh, uh, if I have to extract or provide value to one consumer across multiple life stages, where mattress is the first stage, and say dining ends with dining table, or ends with a L-shaped sofa, or ends with a a big size wardrobe. How do I try to get them all together and sort of give them the same unifying experience? So I think that's going to be a challenge, which is what we are looking forward. But let's see.
Yeah. So interesting propositions coming both on the creative front as well as product front. So that's going to keep us
Correct.
uh,
Correct.
it's been wonderful, I think, to speak to you and have this discussion. I've learned a lot, not only about a psyche of thinking when it comes to a D2C brand, but it's always good to discuss about digital marketing in this space. So I'm glad to have you here. I would love to thank you for keeping some time for us and joining us on this podcast. Thanks a ton.
Thank you so much, Aditya. Thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure talking, and I think sessions and conversations like these will also help us become better in our day-to-day lives. So,
Yep.
thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you. Thanks so much.